Hello, I'm Nathalie, Nitty Nat Stitches, and welcome to my Flosstube channel. I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land where I am now, the Wongal people of the Eora Nation. I am from Sydney in Australia in the inner west, and this is where the Wongal people lived. They lived off the land very sustainably along the Parramatta River west of the main part of Sydney. I would like to thank you for coming along and having a visit with me today. Thank you to my subscribers, and would encourage anybody who's viewing to click subscribe. Where is it? Down there? Or is it down there? It's somewhere down there. and maybe even stick a little click on that bell to be notified of when I post my next video. Hopefully it won't be as much of a break between visits as it has been lately. I've been quite busy with my work, and today at the start of the year it's just a quiet time, so it's perfect for sitting down and having a little chat. I would also like to thank Beth Moyes, the Steadfast Stitcher, for her shout out as well. So we're just sharing a little bit of love. If you haven't seen Beth Moyes' Flosstube channel, the Steadfast Stitcher, I highly recommend going and checking her out. She's just done a WIP Parade. She says it was feature length. I don't know. I don't think it was quite that long, but she's got some beautiful projects, and she's such a wonderful, charming person. Lovely to sit down and watch all of her projects go by. So yeah, thank you so much for the shout out, Beth, and back at ya. So I have come back from a little vacation, and while I was away I got quite a lot of stitching done, and I had a finish. I've had quite a few finishes, so hopefully you've seen some of the finishes in the little bit of preamble that I like to do at the start of my video. But I got a finish done in the last couple of days. This is and I've not ironed it, so sorry. I have not ironed it. I will be putting it in a post bag and sending it to my mother, who will then get it framed for me, because the person that it's going to, which is Zoe, she will be having this framed for her bedroom. So Zoe has just turned 4, and this is for her. There we go. So yes, that took a while, and I'm glad to have it done. I'm very pleased to have it done, and now I can move on to the last one in the series, which is for my nephew Jack. And Jack is not into unicorns or butterflies. He's into cars and trucks and trains and, well, anything with wheels that goes, and that's his vibe. So I will be stitching something that's more for him. Now that chart that I just showed you, Zoe, is by Enchanted Needle, who is on Etsy. So very pleased to have that done. That will go into the post, and then it'll be put on a frame ready for my niece to have up on her wall in her bedroom. So the intention is that I'm just going to pull stuff out of the bags that I've got down, well, the boxes and totes that I've got down here with me in my stitchy spot. Hopefully the weather is going to hold out. It's just gotten a little dull lately, but I've got my ring light going off over on the side, and hopefully it keeps the lighting not too bad. I'm doing what I can, but I've got all I've got. So let's crack on, shall we? I'm just going to pull stuff out. I'll talk about what I've got, and talk a little bit about what my plans are going to be for those pieces throughout the year. Oh, we've just got a big dump of rain, so that's why it got dark all of a sudden. There we go. Just for you, Jamie, it is not 40 degrees, 100 degrees. Up first, this is Raspberries by Study of Raspberries by Veronique Enginger. I am stitching it on a linen, a 36 count linen by Swigart. And I discovered completely by accident, absolutely unintentional, that my mother is also stitching exactly the same piece as me. So how funny is that? An unintentional stitch along. We both really like the botanical studies that Veronique Enginger is doing. Wow, it's really raining. I'll just pause. There we go. It was just a very short, sharp downpour, and hopefully that's the last I have of that. Up next is who's this? Mary Barton's Work by Mojo Stitches. There we go. And I am stitching this on a 40 count Winter Wren by Fox and Rabbit. And I saw this and I thought, wow, I just love, look at those colours. They're so good. Here we are. Right, nice and close. So 40 count linen by Fox and Rabbit. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it very much. I am not stitching with the called for threads, or I'm stitching with called for threads where I have them and substituting in what I have that works for other fancy flosses. My intention for that this year is hopefully to get a finish. I love stitching on it. It's going quickly. It's a small, so I should get it done fairly quickly if I give it time. Like everything else, I just need to give it time. But because it's 40 count, I just need to make sure that I'm stitching under the right conditions for it. Up next, this is Peacock Unicorn and Badger. Here we go. And that is what I have. This is what I have so far. Just a little bit up the top. I am stitching this also on 40 count linen. I hummed and hawed a lot about how I should stitch this, what I should stitch it on. It's going to be quite large, I think. So, yeah, it's going to be big. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm loving it. I love the graphicness, if that's a word. I like the style of how the animals are depicted. I like the colors. I think it's super cute. So yes, very much enjoying it. It's going to be one of my focus pieces for this year. I'll just identify them as they come up because I'm just pulling stuff out of buckets as I go. Am I going to finish that this year? No, no way. A goal. Could I get 25% of it done? I don't know. It's big. It's a big project and it's full coverage. But there's not a lot of confetti in it. So there's a fair chance I could really push it along with some work. This is one that I'm doing as a stitch along with Laurel Myers. Now, this we started for her birthday last year before last, and I've got the border now, almost. There's a few little details around the place. But the house is done, the tree is done. Just a little bit of text to go and a few little details. That'll get done this year. This is called Joy in the Journey. And it's printed by Leisure Arts. So that's the best place to go to find details on that. It's cute. I'm stitching it on a cushion cover. So the cushion cover's already stitched. It's got the zipper on the bottom. I'm just using it as if it's like an 11 count aider. It's huge. Not my favorite fabric. I really should have put a stabilizer on the back of it. Okay, up next. Oh, yes, this one. This one's fun. This is Joyo Noel by Susan Ake, and this was a free pattern on the Orifloss blog, and I have given this a lot of work. I've done a DMC conversion for it, and how good is that? It's almost finished. I could get it done by the end of this month. Let's see. Next Flosstube, this will be finished. Guaranteed. There we go. You're either never going to see it or I'll get it done. No, seriously, absolutely. I want to get this done in the next couple of weeks. So just the last bits to do. One more motif here. A little wreath under the deer, and then some words in the middle. So that will be wonderful. Stitching this on a Zweigart 18 count aider with a DMC conversion, because the called for floss was Orifloss. Hard to get, hard to come by, and I had most of the colours, and DMC's easy to get if there's any gaps. So that's what I did. There are a couple of changes just because I was having fun, so I'm using some sulky floss. What colours have I got? Three of them. So there we go. Here we go. That was a stitch along as well. Stitch along with a bunch of Aussie stitches that I get together with. We started that together in December 2020, and some have finished and others are not, but that's okay, that happens. This is another stitch along. This is Cross Stitch Nation, and apologies for the big crease right in the middle. Let's see if we can pull that out a little bit. There we go, a little bit of colour, there we go, and the colours are looking good too. So Cross Stitch Nation by Beth Twist, Heartstring Samplery. As you can see, if you're familiar with this chart, you can see straight away I've been playing with the colours, and instead of the red flowers along the top, I've got gold. There we go. I'm stitching this on 36 count linen. This is a stitch along that I'm doing with the Shady Trees retreat group, who I get together quite frequently with, a couple of times a year, and every Wednesday night Thursday night we get together, and we on Zoom, and we do a little bit more on it together as much as we can. So that's exciting. I'm glad I've got the middle person, Sue, you're done, and I'm intending on working my way across to the left hand side of the chart, and then I'll work my way across. I am hoping to get that finished by mid-year August, June. Finish it in June. Let's see. What have we got here? Oh, this is the schoolgirl samplers. So I can pull the little card off it. So this is Lucy Radden, and this is from the Schoolgirl Sewing Club, put together by the Cruel Gobelin, LNS, that's in Sydney. This is box number 3, but this is the first one that I'm stitching. Just a nice way to get me into the feel of the Schoolgirl Sewing Club. And Fox and Rabbit have charted this. Guess you want to see where I've gotten up to. I have got a bit done. So it's not large. Pardon the little bits of floss hanging down. I'll stitch those in and stitch some more a bit later. But yeah, no, it's not large. I'll finish this off on here. And then there's also a chart for the little pin cushion. And there's enough fabric on this side to do that. So this is 36 count. Is it 36 count? What am I? Yeah, 36 count paperbark linen by Fox and Rabbit, and I am stitching with NPI silk in Atlantic Blue. So beautiful blue color, and it's lovely to stitch with. First time I've stitched with NPI silks, so hooray, that's a good little thing. The Sewing Girl Club came in a little box every 3 months with chart and the bits and pieces, all of the accoutrements for finishing. So yeah, there's the backing to that's for the pin cushion, this is for the little thread drop card. Really enjoying it. So when will I finish this one? I want it finished by March. Easy enough. I've only worked on it, I think, 2 or 3 days and gotten that much done, so that's pretty good. Up next is one of my Mirabilias. I've changed the way I'm working on my Mirabilias. I've got a bit of a hang now. I'm working one at a time, just so that I can give them the focus, get it finished, and then get it out. I want to give my Shakespeare's Fairies, who are here, there we are. I want to give these ladies a bit more focus, get them done, and I can move on to the next one. So this is I'm stitching this on a 14 count Ada that I dyed, and I guess we could call it Midnight in the Forest, Midsummer Forest, because these are Shakespeare's Fairies from Midsummer Night's Dream. So we've got 2 and a bit fairies almost done. I just got to do them, right? Enjoying it. Just I've gone off Mirabilia a little bit, but that's okay. They will look like this when they're done. There we go. Okay, almost at the end of this box. Another sale, another stitch along. This is with stitching this with Lisa Lane from Paddock Lane, and the Shady Trees stitches. This is the Geisha May. Now I'm stitching the Geisha and Lisa is stitching the warrior, the samurai warrior who stands here, and we're stitching each, and so when I've finished stitching May, I will give this chart and leftover threads to Lisa, and she'll give me the samurai. So anybody who is in No New Starts 2022 group will recognise this lady. Here she is. Ow. Oh, I just stabbed myself with a needle. So here she is. I need to do quite a bit more work on her. That's okay. That's what happens. But yes, I stitch her when I go on retreat, but there's a few prompts in a few challenges at the moment that that I can use her for as well. So need to keep my foot on the accelerator with that one, because someone's relying on me for the chart when they're ready for it. Last thing in this box is one that I haven't stitched on in a while. It's not on my No New Starts project list, but because I'm doing 22 in 22, it will come back on. It is a BAP, and the only way that you can get something that is a BAP onto the list is if you finish a BAP, and I've nearly finished one. We'll come to that in a moment. This is Life is an Open Book London. This is how much I've gotten done. The designer is Aimee Stewart, and she has her charts available through Heaven and Earth Designs. I'm stitching this on 25 count easy grid. I have gotten a fair bit done. I've gotten more done and faster. I was stitching it strictly on the diagonal and then I changed, and I feel like I'm progressing faster. So that's kind of good, but I fell out of love with this project, and I think if I spend some time away from it, then I might fall back in love with it again. So it's going to be really big. It's a bit of a tablecloth, and this is not the super size one. It's just the standard size, regular colors, regular size. So I was hoping I would be a lot further along than I am with it, but I'm not. But that's okay. It is what it is. But that's the end of that box. The other box is down here. These are my slightly more active WIPs. Let's see what we've got in here. Oh, this is good. This is another Hade. This is Teacup Bath by Randall Spangler. And that is how big it's going to be. It's a mini. It's a mini. That is how wide it's going to be. I have been stitching it on the diagonal and then I broke away. And again, happy with doing that. I feel like it's progressing faster now. So happy with that. Just kind of doing my own thing with it. I do need to get it moving again. And this is going to be for my eldest child. And they are very much into dragons. So hopefully I remember to insert a picture of that. Next, Kringles. This was my Christmas start for 2021, and I started it right in the middle. Here we go. I've got got a fair bit done, haven't I? It's looking good. Right in the middle, clocks pretty much done. You can see the Krynic sort of. I had to do a little bit of switching of colours. I'm stitching it as much as possible in the called for colours. The only colour I'm not stitching it in is the eggshell, it's ecru. I think it will look better on this with ecru than with eggshell, just because I'm not stitching it in the grey, which is the same colour as the cover, which is here. So it's the grey. Yeah, they stitched it on Parisian grey. I am stitching it on a 32 count even weave from Sassy Devils called Frozen, which is somewhat appropriate. So there we go. That is Kringles. What can I say about that? I'm stitching it with a few other people. Next, Antique Tin Tiles. This is by Rosewood Manor. I have started it. I am stitching on an 18 count navy Ada. As you can tell, I am not using a monochrome. I'm using a variegated silk from Silks For You. There's a mistake in there. I don't know where. I'm going to have to pull it out. I'm not looking forward to it. It's fun. The silk is, oh, I can't even remember. It was a new release by Silks For You. But look at those colours. It was a Halloween release. And absolutely lovely to stitch with. Absolutely lovely to stitch with. Having fun, but I obviously was a bit too distracted, and I've got a mistake in there now. I may have to rip it all out to get it restarted. I am a long way behind where I thought I would be up to, but that's okay. I can't stitch everything at once. I'm glad I found that one. I wasn't sure where it was. Okay, this is a bit of fan stitching for a podcast that I listen to called Chat 10 Looks 3. The podcast is by two Australian journalists. One's a political journalist. Well, they're both political journalists. Lee Sales and Annabelle Crabb. And there are a few references within my stitching that I'm about to show to the podcast. One of which is that one of the podcasters, she is an early to bed person. She likes people to leave by 9. So the contrast is pretty crazy, so I'll try and get the natural light on it as much as possible. Please leave by 9 p.m. It's a small. I'm stitching it on one of my cushions. It's going to be completely overwhelmed by the size of the cushion, so I'll probably find some other motifs to put around so that it's not there in the middle. It's a small. It won't take me long to finish, and then I'll figure out what I'm going to do with the rest. Another stitch along. This I am stitching with a few of my friends from the No New Starts group. This is Folk Flowers by Satsuma Street. Here we go. It's a bell pull. or it can be the little bags. I'm stitching it as the bell pull, and I'm also stitching it on the dark fabric. I've done a little bit of color substitution, but how pretty, huh? So this is 32 count black linen. As you can see, it's a little see-through, which makes stitching it both in daytime and nighttime a bit of a challenge. Those holes are pretty deceptive, but there we go, we can see it. Coming along nicely enough. It's not as large as I thought it would be, but 32 count black linen, it's okay. I am stitching it with called for colours, except for one where I felt that the called for colour was just a bit too dark for the fabric, and I just wanted to get a little bit more contrast. So I've changed one of the browns out from being a very dark brown to just being a medium-ish brown. Okay, here's one that is also not on my current list of projects, but will come in when I've stitched a small, and I will place it with this. This is by Night Spirit Studio. Witchcraft ingredients. Anyway, it's a shelf of witchcraft ingredients. It's a great Halloween piece, as you can tell by this awesome purple. I dyed this myself at the same time that I did the Shakespeare's Fairies. Okay, here's another one that is not on my list, but will be shortly. This is The Scent of Lilies by Gera. The chart is from Creative Poppy, so you can see I have had some progress on this, slow progress. It's on a 40 count linen, and it is, as you can see from there, very, very slubby. Lots of slubs in that, makes it difficult to stitch and to count. But that lily is no joke. What have I got in here? No, that's not a WIP. It's something that will be, but isn't yet. Okay, another one that's not on the list, but is progressing reasonably well. Cricket collection. This is Playing with Jacks. So there we go. I'm stitching this on a 32 count Murano. 32 count? No, it's a Joblin. Almost to the bottom of the bag. What have I got here? Ah, this is Night Walked Down by the Blue Flower. I got a little bit of progress done on this since last we spoke. Getting some of the words and some of the border done. It's working steadily. And some of this side border too. The border is no joke. It is quite involved. There's mistakes in there, and I'm just going to let them go. That's okay. Good to have it progressing. I am stitching that with mostly the called for threads, with a couple of exceptions. Oh, the fabric. This is an 18 count Zweigart Ada in cream. Yeah, it's an antique white cream colour. But some of the colours that are charted are not standing out, so I'm having to make some changes. Okay. WIP Parade is not a WIP Parade for me without a little bit of Barbara Anna. Here we go. So this is from the Four Seasons. Where's my picture card? Uh-oh. What did I do with it? Here it is. There we are. I am stitching it in the 4 that it's set out there. So there we go. And I'm going to stitch them as the seasons roll around. So it is currently summer, so I am stitching summer. There we go. You can see that beautiful wreath of strawberry flowers, white flowers anyway, going over the top. And then next to her will be spring, and then autumn will go down here, and winter underneath summer. It's by Barbara Anna Designs, and you can purchase this chart through Nitka in Russia. So it's a kit, and so it comes with the fabric, it comes with the floss and the chart. I'm not using the fabric that it came with. I just felt sure it would fit, but I wanted in a nicer square rather than a long thing. So that's how I'm doing that. Interestingly, the chart comes with a QR code for Spotify for 2 versions of Vivaldi's Four Seasons. So I've been re-listening to that as I've been stitching as well, which is quite nice. A couple of nice versions. Another fabulous version, if you're interested, find who is it? Max Richter's Richter version of his reimagined Four Seasons. It's beautiful. I really like it. Second to last, this is Newcastle Bouquet. I've had it on both scroll frame and on Q-snaps, and I've taken it off the scroll frame once again, just because it gives me an opportunity to feel like I'm getting towards the end, because I'm getting towards the end. Now, when I started 2021, I had about that much of it stitched. And every 2 weeks I completed a letter of the alphabet, and I didn't quite get the whole thing finished, but I've got a joined up border. I've got all of the alphabet letters there, and now it's just the fun stuff in the middle, plus some of the boring stuff around the edges. So my plan for this one, I will talk about the plans for this in a moment. So I'm going to put it aside because there is one more WIP, which a few of you might have been waiting for. St. Andrews, ta-da! So it is still on the scroll frame. That was the back. It doesn't look too bad, but I don't like showing my backs. What is it about showing the back? I heard someone say that asking to see the back of someone's work is like asking to see someone's underwear. Mine's not a disaster, but it's not perfect either. But yes, here's St. Andrews. I am working on the sky, and I've got quite a fair bit done. My goal for this in 2021 was 21,000 stitches. I got 20,000 stitches done. That was the completion of all of this top banner and all of that, well, most of it. My goal for this year is to stitch at least that much this year and really give this strong focus, push it forward, get the sky finished and start working on the roof, get some of this detail happening here. I had been stitching perfectly on the diagonal, and then with these we've got some very large patches of solid color, which is unusual. It's been heavy on the confetti side, which is my own fault because I charted this. And yes, I want at least 20,000. I'm hoping more. I'm hoping for double that. So I actually have to really pull my finger out and stitch on it. So now I come to plans. This weekend is the 24 hours of cross stitch. So Jen Lee's 24 hours of cross stitch. I am on team sleep. My plans for 24 hours of cross stitch is to stitch at least 700. Actually, let's get ambitious. No, 24 hours. So 14 hours worth on St. Andrews. 14 hours. It's 14 hours on this. And 10 hours on this, which will give me 24 hours. Let's see what that looks like, huh? So yeah, that's my plan. So my plans for 2022 is to have more finishes. So you've seen some of the finishes that I've got hopes for, Joy O Noel, some smalls, so that I can bring some of the other projects back in. When I finish this guy, the Newcastle Bouquet by Teresa Kogut, I will then bring London back into play. I want to be able to get my Mirabilia finished. I'm hoping to have that done by September. That's sure. I'm sure I can do it. I want to be able to work through all 4 of the schoolgirl sampler sets from the kits that were from the Cruel Goblin. And I've got a bunch of cards that I want to be able to do, and those cushions, get those done. It's not asking too much. My prediction for this year is that I won't get as much done as I am hoping to. I got 17 finishes last year. I think I would like to try and get 20. I've got some larger projects that are closer to finishing now, which is great, and I think I can do them. So, how about in the comments you tell me about what are your goals for stitching in 2022? As you might know, I am one of the admins for the No New Starts group. So the focus for me is to start the year, well, to finish the year with fewer projects than I have going right now. So you've seen some of the ones that are waiting to come along and to be moved in when I finish things. So the whole point is I'm not going to start anything until I've finished something else. I'm not going to start something larger than things that I've finished. So always working down so that I can then speed up the finishes as well. It's not saying that I'm not allowed to start anything. I'm not allowed to. The whole goal of the group is to encourage, encourage me to move away from starting all the things. I did that in 2020. It was a little therapeutic, but I finished 2020 feeling like I was out of control. And so now it's about re-establishing control with my stitching and all of my stitching stuff. So yeah, there's some organisation that will be happening. I've got some shelving that's coming for my new stitchy place, and looking forward to assembling. I am one of those strange people that enjoys assembling flat packs, so that's fun. Work is crazy busy. It's quiet right now, but it's about to get really busy. So yeah, stitching is very much my refuge, and I'm glad to have it. I'm hoping to travel a bit more this year, so you might see me stitching if you follow me on Instagram, there might be a bit more stitching in the wild. Plans this year to hopefully get to Western Australia, to remote coastal parts of Western Australia. Singing again. Singing is starting up again, so that's wonderful. And part of that is a tour to New Zealand. So really looking forward to making sure that my passport works. And then some family holidays and some road trips with friends. So some good things coming up as well. So thank you so much for sticking with me through my semi-WIP Parade, semi-Flosstube. It's a bit of a morphy thing going on there. I hope to see some of you in the comments. Again, please subscribe. Subscribers are great, and I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers. And please hit the bell icon to be notified of when I put up my next video. I might see some of you on Zoom, either in Fun Day or on the No New Start Zoom room. And I hope you all have a very safe and healthy 2022, and I hope to see more of you throughout the year. Okay, thank you so much.